What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a rant slash, I don't know, just kind of a random topic commentary. I don't really know how to categorize this one, so I guess I'll call this a rant. I don't really know, but basically this one is just about YouTube money and the logistics of it and people's misconceptions about it and what it really is, because a lot of people think that, you know, if you have 1K subs or if you have like 10K subs, you're making bank off of YouTube. That is not true. Believe me, it is not. It is not. But we're going to dive into that later. What I want to mention first, before I get into this, is I want to thank you guys a shit ton for all of the support I've been getting lately. We've been dropping 90 plus likes on all of these recent uploads, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So let's go for 80 likes on this video. I really hope we can nail it. You know, smack the like button if you enjoyed the commentary, if you reach the end of it, or whenever you exit out. Don't forget to like it before you leave. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts on YouTube money. If you're a YouTuber, I'd love to hear your opinions yourself on YouTube money, if you disagree with anything I say here or anything like that, because, you know, feedback's always welcome, especially on a video like this. I feel that feedback is kind of important to the video, and, you know, this video is kind of made for discussion. So anyways, moving on, I'm going to be giving you guys kind of a rundown of how the whole YouTube money thing works. Now, if you're already a YouTuber, you have really no reason to listen to this part. You already know the logistics of it, how to earn it, how much you should usually get per like 1,000 views and stuff like that. So a lot of people have this misconception that if you get, let's say, 10,000 views, you're earning a lot of money, and that's not true at all. Because the average pay rate, let's say, this is just kind of, I'm pulling this out of my ass, but from what I've like been told by my friends that do YouTube that are partnered and get paid for the views and stuff like that, the average pay rate per 1,000 views is maybe $1.50, $2 CPM. And what CPM is that's basically how much money you're gonna get per 1,000 views. And that may sound good and that may sound fine and dandy and all, and for guys like PewDiePie, that's great because he drops like 5 million views a video. But people are thinking that people like myself are sitting out here making like $5,000 a year, which is, oh my god, I'd love that, but I'm not in YouTube for money. I mean, hey, money's an extra perk, but I'm not in it for that, and B, I am nowhere near that, nor will I be anytime soon. Now, how it works is not all of the views that you get on your videos are actual, like, payable views. There's something called monetized views, and I'm actually not even quite sure how these work myself. I know that there's a certain amount of these views that are monetizable views, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong if you know anything more about this, it is all the views that are on the computer, because mobile views I don't believe can be monetized or anything off of like Xboxes or stuff like that, which is why, you know, all these computer viewers, you know, we love you guys, us YouTubers, we got love for you guys. But anyways, unless you use ad block, then we don't have love for you guys. But anyways, moving on. So that's basically, let's say you drop 1,000 views on a video. Great, fine and dandy. You think you're going to make $1.50 if you don't know much about the whole monetizable views thing. No, that is not true. You'll probably be making off of 1K views, you'll maybe get, I'm just kind of guessing right now, maybe like 400 monetizable views, 400, 500, and then the rest will be like mobile, Xbox, random other devices like that. 400, 500 views, you're making maybe like 60 cents off that video, 60, 70, somewhere around that, depending on your network that you are partnered with. And that doesn't sound like much. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't really sound like much, but it adds up. However, you can't really go into YouTube with the mentality of doing it for money, because a lot of these channels that I see nowadays, they go in and you can tell when someone's doing it for money because they don't quite have the same level of excitement for videos and the same level of motivation and enthusiasm and stuff like that. You can tell that when, you know, for example, when someone's not dropping views, let's say, and they're doing YouTube for money, if they're not getting a lot of views on their videos like they want to, they'd kill for, they used to be, like let's say their ratings slowed down, for example, like Wings of Redemption, then, you know, naturally you're going to be able to tell that they kind of don't really give a shit about their subs. And that's kind of, I don't understand why some of these douchebags on YouTube are big, because they're obviously in it for money, and because of that, they don't really care about their audience unless they're sitting on a laptop watching their videos, or a desktop, you know, because that earns them money. And it's just, my advice to you guys, if you guys ever want to get into YouTube, if you're in it right now, do not do it for money. Don't do it with the sole intent for money. You don't think of an idea for a video with the thought of, yeah, this is going to get a ton of views, I'm going to make a lot of money off this. Instead, you make a video with the thought and the intent of, oh, this is going to get a lot of views, I'm going to get a lot of subs off of this. You know, you have to go at YouTube with that mentality and that attitude of, I want to become well known, not I want to become rich. You can't just go at YouTube like that, because YouTube money, it is not a lot, you know, in my opinion. And, you know, maybe it depends on the network. I'm not really sure. It depends on what kind of sponsorships you have, connections, stuff like that. You would need at least like 500,000 subscribers, 400,000, maybe 300,000, depending on the views you're dropping, because it all depends on how many videos you have uploaded, views per day, stuff like that. And that stacks up over time. But maybe 200K, 300K, maybe even 400K subs to make a living off of YouTube. A lot of people think like, oh, if you hit 100K, you're making a living. 100K, you wouldn't really be making a ton of money, and you could try, you could go for it. I mean, good luck with that, but you're probably going to be living in your mom's basement or a trailer for a little while with that the salary you'd be getting off 100K subs. Because what I've seen off of these 100K channels is they're dropping maybe like 30, 40K views a day, some of them more, excuse me. It depends on like if they have any viral uploads that drop like 1 million views or 100K views or crazy stuff like that. So, you know, for example, if you're making 50K views a day, you're making, let's say, per 1K, and 50K monetizable is what I'm talking about. Let's say you have 50K monetizable. All right, great. That's $1.50, let's say. We'll round it up to $2 per 1,000 views. That means that every 10,000 views, you're dropping $20. Now think about that. 20 times 5, $100 a day. You're not making a living off that. No, you're not, buddy. Well, I guess you could, but that's essentially a bit over minimum wage. And yeah, it's an easy job. Well, actually, no, I take that back. It's not an easy job. YouTube is not easy if you go at it with money. It's not. And if you do it like myself, when you go at it for fun, YouTube's the easiest thing in the world because you're having fun. It's like sitting down and playing a video game. It's like doing your hobby, you know? It's fun. But if you go at it for money, it's not like, how do I put this? I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's not an easy job. It's not. Because instead of sitting here and having a genuine passion and motivation for YouTube, you have to sit here and think, all right, which one of these 3 ideas that I have written down here in a notepad file on my laptop is going to make me the most money and views? And that makes it a very, very difficult job because you don't give 2 fucks about what you're doing. You couldn't give any less shit. You're just doing what's getting you paid. For fuck's sake, you would do vlogs instead of gaming if it got you more money. I mean, that's just kind of the money mentality on YouTube, and you can't go at it like that. And a lot of people who don't do YouTube at all have this misconception of the amount of money that people make on YouTube, and it just, I don't know. I kind of wanted to clarify things. I wanted to get that off my chest because, you know, I was talking to some dudes the other day who were talking about, you know, bragging about how much money they make off of YouTube and shit like that. Going like, oh yeah, I make like $1,000 a year. Oh yeah, I make like, you know, like $200 a month, shit like that. And I know that one of you, if you watch this whole commentary to this point, you're going to assume it's you. Believe me, it is not you. You know who you are because I was playing Ground War with you, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But anyways, so just moving on from all that, you know, it's just a lot of people think that YouTubers are rich as shit if you have like 10K subs and you're dropping like 5K views a day. Man, that guy must be rich. No, that's not true at all. They're making like what, 5K views a day, maybe like $10 a day, maybe. So yeah, I just wanted to clear some things up. I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. If you have any thoughts on the YouTube money and money whores and stuff like that, drop a comment saying it. You know, share your thoughts. I'd love to see some real good feedback on this video, some nice long comments to read over, because I don't know, I want to get your guys' opinion on just people who do YouTube for money and just money from this as a whole, you know? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let's go for 80 likes like I mentioned earlier. Smack the like button if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
We taking trips on the island. My bitch bad, she from the island. Where the plug? He on the island. No Gilligan, on the island. Black trip islands. Water islands. Black trip.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a pretty entertaining story for you guys about the most awkward detention that I've ever gotten / served. And this one's actually a kind of embarrassing story. However, I wouldn't really count it as too embarrassing to tell you guys because I didn't really realize what I was doing until it was kind of too late. So I don't know, that kind of, I guess you could say it kind of redeems myself. But before I start the commentary, let's go for 120 likes on this video. I'm aiming high because lately my videos have been getting some really, really awesome ratings, especially the story times. And thank you guys so much for supporting me, especially since I joined Dooms. My ratings have just kind of skyrocketed, and I just said Dooms, my bad, but either way, it doesn't matter. So yeah, let's go for 120 likes on this video, and without further ado, let's dive into the story. So basically, the most awkward detention that I've ever served is kind of an interesting story, because it's borderline embarrassing, I guess. I don't really know how to put it. In a sense, it's kind of gay, but I don't really know how else to put it, so I just put it as the most embarrassing, because quite frankly, it's it's awkward and it's embarrassing, and it was really, really weird to have to talk to the office about. So here's how it went down. Basically, I was at lunch and it played out like a normal day. You know, I sat at the table with a bunch of fucking dickheads and jackasses who really kind of did whatever the fuck we want. We were kind of like the lunch ladies' arch enemies, I guess you could say, because we would pretty much just kind of do whatever. You know, we would take all the food that we didn't eat and go flush it down the toilet and clog it. We would do all this fucked up stuff that, you know, now that I look back on it, excuse me, was kind of stupid, but whatever. You know, the past is the past. We had fun while it happened, and, you know, middle school was a blast. But basically, this was 8th grade year, and my friend Joe had a banana, and Joe sat right across from me. You know, my friend Jason sat like kind of diagonal to the left. This was like at the time, but we'd always flip seats like every other week. And then my friend Nick sat to my left, and then there were a few other kids kind of scattered about my table, and he hands me the banana because he didn't want to eat it. And he was like, dude, how much of that banana can you eat? And I was like, I don't fucking know. Why? I don't even want the banana. And he was like, excuse me. He was like, well, you know, I want to kind of like make a bet with you. And I was like, all right. And he was like, well, why don't you stand up on your stool, which is like basically every table had a shit ton of stools attached to it. And he was like, why don't you stand up on your stool and see how much of the banana you could eat in one bite. And I didn't really kind of compute it at the time because I was like, I don't know, I was kind of out of it and I was dumb as shit. And I still kind of am dumb as shit with the stuff I do. But anyways, so I was like, I stood up on the chair because, you know, naturally, of course, I didn't really give a shit, didn't think about it. I took the banana and I, you know, peeled it and I was holding the banana, and he's like, ready, set, go. And I'm standing, and this is a really small lunchroom. So like you can see pretty much from anywhere in the lunchroom, you could see me and what I was doing. I essentially deep throat the banana, although that's not really my intent or what I did. I took the banana and I put as much of it as I could down my throat to the point where I was like choking on it. I was like, and then I remember my friend Joe, like, as soon as I stood up, he started going like, deep throat, deep throat, deep throat. And the whole rest of the lunchroom was like, deep throat, deep throat. And then the fucking lunch ladies were just kind of looking at me with this disgusted look. And, you know, I ate it. I ate the banana. It was tasty. It was a great banana. However, it didn't really pay off for the fact that I then, excuse me, I cannot speak today, Jesus Christ, that I then later had to sit down and look the principal in the eyes and explain why I was sucking a banana like it was a dong. So basically, I had eaten the banana, or the vast majority of it. There was a very little amount left. You know, I was standing on my stool, finally bit it as soon as I was done gagging on the dong, I guess. I don't know how else the fuck to put it. And, you know, I bit it and I sat back down. And this one lunch lady who was an absolute bitch, but she had every right to punish me for this one, she came over to our table and kind of pulled me out in the hall. And she just kind of looked at me and she was like, what were you doing? And I was like, eating a banana. And at this point, I knew I was in trouble for it. I knew that it had a sexual meaning, but I really didn't give two fucks, to be honest. My fuck's sake, I cannot speak today. Excuse me. But anyways, so, you know, I was like, you know, oh, well, you know, it was just like a dare, you know, I did it for fun. And from then on, you know, of course, she always gave me dirty looks. But anyways, so basically, she just kind of let me back in the lunchroom after that. And I figured it was all over, you know. I was like, there's no way that she's going to go up to the principal and be like, excuse me, I caught a homosexual student in the lunchroom today, sucking a banana like it was a dick. What should I do about this? I doubt any lunch lady or anyone as that was like a member of the faculty would really want to have to be put through that experience, because that's probably really, really awkward. But this lady did it. She had no problem going up to the principal and saying, yeah, there was a most likely homosexual student gagging on some dick today in the lunchroom, some banana dick, so I'm going to go ahead and report it to you. But apparently, you know, that was not necessarily an issue that came to mind, so I got called down to the office towards the end of the day. It was the last period of the day, actually, and they called me down, and they had the little detention slip on the, like, front counter of the front desk of the office, so I figured I was just going to grab the slip and leave. No, my God, I wish that's how it played out. But basically, there's like an airplane that just flew over my house. I don't know if you guys heard that. Fuck you! But anyways, okay, so basically, I, like, got called into the office, and I had the detention in my hand, but they were like, as I was walking out, they stopped me, and they were like, wait, the principal wants to talk to you. So, the more awkward thing, to really add to the just greatness, just so great, thank you so much for telling on me and, you know, getting me in trouble for this, is that the vice principal who kind of took care of punishments, she was my dad's neighbor. And that made it a lot more awkward getting punished and having to talk to her about it or getting, like, caught doing it, because she would tell my dad. So my dad would know everything that I did. And I was like, all right, well, now my whole dad's side of the family is going to think I'm gay. This is not good. Technically, I guess I have to go back into the closet now. It's reversed. I have to somehow get myself to go back into the closet because I apparently came out of the closet today by gagging on some banana dong. So I went into the office and she was sitting there and we sat down, and she was like, oh, how are you? And I was like, oh, good, how are you? And all polite and dandy. And, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I'm just going to go home today and be like, hey, Mom, I sucked some cock at lunch. And she's going to be like, oh, great job. And I'm going to be like, hey, I got a detention for sucking cock. And she'll be like, fuck you. And I'll get grounded. But anyways, so basically, she sat me down. She was like, oh, well, why did you do this? And I was like, oh, well, it was just like a little dare. It was like fun. She was like, well, there was kind of like an inappropriate a symbol to it, or like a meaning to it. And, I was surprised that she even brought that up, but at least she didn't straight up say, you were gagging on some fucking dick, homie. You're fucking gay as shit, fam. I'm telling you right now, fuck you. At least she was kind of somewhat professional about it. So anyways, I was like, yeah, I know. And I didn't intend it like that, but it was too late. And I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Yada, yada, yada. Just to kind of bullshit my way out of the situation. And I made it out. I got my detention and I went home, and it didn't really compute with me beyond the fact that I already got in trouble for it, that I would then have to show my parents the detention slip to get it signed in order to serve the detention unless I wanted to get suspended. And on there it wrote that I was using a banana for I swear to God, this is what it said: using a banana with sexual intentions. And this, I can't even finish the sentence. Just remembering this is so fucking awkward and funny at the same time. I remember handing the detention slip to my mom, and she just gave me this filthy look as if I was like this disgusting serial killer, and she just signed it and asked no questions. Just no fucking questions. Because think about it, if you were like in her position, let's say you're a girl right now and you have a son, if you find out that he was sucking some fucking banana dick or pretending to suck some dong at the lunch table, you're not going to sit him down and be like, now Jeffrey, why were you sucking cock at lunch? You're just gonna kind of let it slide. So I mean, it was I still think she gives me that dirty look every now and then. I still think she questions my sexuality. I swear I'm straight. I like titties. I like vagina. I like booty. If you have any of those, please apply to be my bae in the description below, aka just follow me on Twitter, and that's your application filled in right there. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a like and a comment. Once again, let's go for 120 likes on this story. If you guys have any interesting or similar stories that you guys would like to share in the comments, or any thoughts on this, feel free to share those, because I love reading over your guys' comments, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and I'm back with the legendary sequel to one of my most successful videos of all time before it got taken down, of course. What you guys are listening to right now is Freshman Hose V2, and I'm going off in this one. Now, before I dive into that, I would like to say that I'm doing a Q&A over Twitter, and I'm going to make a Q&A video pretty soon because I've been wanting to do that for a while. So how you guys can ask me some questions is, don't drop a comment with a question, don't just tweet at me with a question. What you do is you're going to tweet with the hashtag AskGoblin, and then you're going to tweet your question, and then you're going to mention me at the very end of it, or anywhere in the tweet, really, it doesn't matter. So ask me any questions, doesn't have to relate to YouTube or CoD or anything like that. You can ask me, how many bananas have I eaten in the past week? How much pussy have I seen in the past month? How many times have I jacked off in the past decade? I don't fucking know. Ask me anything. I don't care. I'll answer as much as I can. Nothing's off limits. Nothing at all. Unless it's too personal. Then it's like, all right, nah, we're not going there. But you guys, I think you guys know your boundaries. You guys seem like some sensible people. I love you. Come here. Give me a kiss. So anyways, basically, if you guys couldn't already tell, I'm back with Freshman Hose, and this is V2, so I'm going to be bringing up some different points in this one. I'm going to be pointing out some things about the haunted pussy, the haunted mansion snatch, if you catch my drift. I kind of mentioned that in the last commentary, and for any of you who have not seen the last commentary, if you guys are new subscribers, if you weren't around here about like a month ago, I believe it was, then I'll fill you in. Basically, I made a rant about how freshman girls are kind of being sluts. They're being hoes. They're getting themselves out there. They're doing work. They're working them street corners. They're working them lunch tables. They're working them back seats of the juniors' cars. They're out there. They're working. They hustling. They're on the grind. Except they don't make any money for it. So just kind of I guess working for free internship. It's a hoe internship. That's what freshman year is. It's a prostitution internship. So you can kind of test your skills, you know, like they'll put you out there, put you to the test. You'll go fuck around with some juniors, some seniors, some sophomores. And if you feel like you're ready, you can go into stripping or prostitution or anything like that, you know. But there's a problem with freshman hoes. A lot of people kind of view them as a blessing because in high school, a lot of dudes have the mentality of just get some pussy. You know, pussy's pussy. Doesn't matter how many times it's been hit. Doesn't matter if that shit has been hit more than the Twin Towers. I don't give a fuck. I'm a smash, you know? That's not a good mentality to have, gentlemen. However, that's not necessarily the topic of this. We're not going to dive into that, but I think you can piece together why that's a bad idea after I finish this statement right here. When a lady, okay, when you freshman ladies out there, now it's not as big of an epidemic later in high school because those girls kind of realize they done fucked up and then they just kind of sit there and look at their Clifford cooter, you know, their Courage the Cowardly Dog pussy, you know, their Little Bill booty, you catch my drift, and they're just like, shit, I fucked up, you know. But these freshman girls are just kind of thinking of the dong and they're like, all right, how can I fit in with these juniors as much as I can, you know, and then they'll go to the backseat of their car and suck their fucking donger all night long, you know. It's not a good idea, ladies. It's not, because when you finally decide, all right, I'm done hoeing myself out, I'm done being a thotty, I'm done with that Clifford cooch, I'm done with that Courage the Cowardly Dog snatch, I'm done with that Mike Wazowski pussy, it's too late. It's too late to apologize because you're going to have a torn up roast beef sandwich down there with some dried up mayonnaise on the side if you catch my drift, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. And I don't know. I don't really have faith in those ladies finding a guy when they finally want one, because whether, you know, no matter how much you tell yourself like, oh, I'm fine just being single and going to parties and talking to a bunch of random guys and stuff, eventually you're going to want a boyfriend. You're going to want a guy. And the same applies to guys, you know, guys out there just smashing pussy all through high school. Eventually you're going to want a girlfriend so you can kind of settle down, get the little Disney fast pass to the pussy so everyone else has to wait in line while you just flash the fast pass, dude, and scan your little card if you guys have ever been to Disney, and then you get right in the pussy. You're there and you're VIP unless she's a hoe. Then she's cheating on you, fucking around, sending pictures of her tit tots and shit like that. You know, all that fucked up stuff. But what really pisses me off the most about freshman hoes is how impossible it kind of makes it to find a trustworthy female girlfriend nowadays. I don't know why I said female girlfriend. If I say girlfriend, I hope that you think it's female. We're not looking for some trannies in this shit. But anyways, so it kind of makes it impossible to find a trustworthy girlfriend nowadays because, you know, as they say, love no thoughties, you know, trust no thoughties, shit like that. And if you have these girls who are spreading their legs left and right, just everywhere, every party they go to, they got their legs behind their head, they're doing some fucking new maneuvers, doing backflips in the pussy, you know? It's not going to be good because then you're going to be dating that girl and you're going to have to walk through the halls knowing that Jamal, Tyrone, and LaShonda all fucked your girl. They all hit it. They hit the roast beef. They hit the Clifford cooter. They hit the Clifford snatch, I guess you could say. They hit the Mike Wazowski pussy and everything in between. And you're going to have to walk through the halls knowing that that shit is beat the fuck up to the point where if you were to point a fan at the vagina, it would actually flap, kind of like if you were to hold a piece of paper out of the window of the bus when you're going home. Same thing, you know, it would flap. It'd be like mud flaps down there, you know, it'd be torn the fuck up. It'd look like a battlefield, look like some D-Day shit. You catch my drift? So it's just kind of like, ladies, what are you doing out there? Rethink your game. Rethink your strategy. Don't keep doing stuff like this. Don't do it. Because sophomore hoes aren't really well known for a reason. Because they were freshman hoes and they got torn the fuck up. And you never hear of the juniors going after the sophomore girls. It's always the juniors going after the freshman girls. And the seniors are already 18, so they're going after the sophomore girls. Locked up, you go, fuck you. Goodbye, you're going to jail for hitting that young Clifford snatch. Fuck you. You know, it's pretty much, it's that kind of thing. So, freshman ladies, all I'm saying out there, it's okay to suck a dong every once in a while. It's okay to jack the shack if you catch my drift. However, it's not okay to spread your legs and, you know, spread them wide open. You kind of gotta keep it closed up like the Hoover Dam. If you catch my drift, you gotta stop that water from coming through. And don't let guys hit the roast beef sandwich, you know, unless you're dating them. That's kind of a different story because I kind of, honestly, I'm just gonna admit, I only say that because I had sex with someone that I was dating, but never someone that I wasn't dating. But anyways, so, you know, if you're dating them, that's different. However, if you're just going to parties, spreading the legs, opening up that snatch, reconsider right now. Don't do that. Bad idea, bad investment. 2 out of 10, very bad idea. And you're going to need some breath mints because when you come home or you get a ride home or you get picked up by your parents, let's say, and they smell some dude dong on your breath, they're only going to know, your dad's going to look you in the eyes and he's going to say, you got that Mike Wazowski snatch, young lady? and you know that you're going to have to say yes because he's caught you. He knows you got that Clifford coot, you know? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a like and a comment sharing your thoughts on Freshman Host. And I just kind of felt like, I guess you could say, reinstating my thoughts in the first video. I may even make a response to this one because I didn't even get all my thoughts out. But, thoughts, get it? Haha! Thoughties! Mom, I love no thoughties! But anyways, alright, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a like and a comment, and I may even make another version of this video because I didn't even get half my thoughts out yet, you know? I just wanted to kind of keep it below a 10-minute video. So yeah, drop a like and a comment. Let's go for 100 likes in honor of a legendary sequel to one of my most successful videos ever, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
I like that.
Gangsta greasy.
When it comes to stunting, I'm like Money Man Meech. Brought my city with me and we coming in the fleet. And now I'm getting richer, they don't want me in the streets. I'm thinking, fuck a album sale, we sold 100 bricks this week. 1,000 grams of crack, take it to the table. Bag it all up, take it to the label.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with my first ever Q&A video. I've been wanting to do one of these for a long time, and right now I've got my tweets pulled up on my phone right in front of me right here. I'm looking through the hashtags Ask Goblin, you know, so basically any of you guys who ask me any questions, if they didn't get answered in this video, if, you know, your question wasn't featured in this, then don't worry, you know, in the next one, because I will probably do more of these, assuming that this will hopefully get good feedback from you guys. Speaking of feedback, let's gun for 90 likes on this video, but anyways, if this gets good feedback from you guys, I will do another one. So if your question was not answered in this video, don't worry, it will most likely be answered in the next one, assuming that I will make one. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the questions. So the first question that I have is from Eric H39. Follow him on Twitter. He's one of my IRL friends, and he asked me thoughts on the Lil B versus Kevin Durant beef. I definitely think Lil B could take KD on the court. I think KD is shit. I think that Lil B is God. Lil B is supreme. That's all. Lil B could take KD on the court. Next question we have from Exility. That's my boy in Vault. Go check him out in the description below and follow him on Twitter. His question is, what motivates you to make commentaries and go for gameplays? Honestly, it's pretty much the feedback from you guys. You know, seeing all the likes that I get and seeing that I can play a game and then talk about what I'm feeling or thinking or things that I've done in the past or things that I've seen or experienced in the past and get tons of views and likes for it and get a ton of support for it and have almost 1.6 thousand people subscribe to me just to hear that, you know, that's pretty cool. And it's kind of like, hey, that's badass, you know? Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's cool. I don't really know how else to put it. All right, let's see here. Scrolling through the questions. All right, next question from Blitz. Hashtag Ask Goblin, are we friends? I've never seen you in my entire fucking life. No. Next question. Ask Goblin, where's the shout out, or when's the shout out, excuse me, for me going up? Does this count? Is this good enough for you? Does this count, motherfucker? Next question. This is from Dooms. He says, hashtag Ask Goblin, ass or tits? This is a golden question. This is like the grand question right here. See, titties, you've kind of got like these airbags filled up with jello, and then someone put a little bullseye on them. That's essentially what a tit is, you know, bullseye being the nipple. And with ass, you just kind of have two stacks of pancakes, and then in between, you have a little dark hole into the depths of heaven and hell, depending on how you look at it and what your thoughts on anal are. So I'm definitely... Oh, this is a damn good question, actually. Hold up. Let me think of this one right here. You know, if she got that Clifford snatch, then I'm definitely a tits guy because I'm staying away from that fucking torn up roast beef. However, if it's nice down there, I'm an ass dude. So I'm going to have to overall go with ass because hopefully there's more ladies out there without the Clifford snatch and, you know, majority wins. So I guess I'll say I'm an ass guy. This one is from Jackson Engstrom. He said, hashtag Ask Goblin, what is the best prank that you have ever pulled? Alright, so this one, I read this question the other day, and I already have an answer in mind. Basically, this one I didn't pull on someone in person. This was actually with someone that I used to play League of Legends with, and I talk to online every now and then. Basically, we would start these, I used to play with this group of guys, and I still kind of talk to them every now and then, and we would do these Google Hangouts, and we would all play like League of Legends to just chill out and talk in the Google Hangout, and, you know, do whatever, turn on our webcam, shit like that. So, this kid named Brett, he was in our group, and he had his webcam on, we were all chilling out, and we convinced him that we just ordered him like a free pizza, but I paid for it, and I genuinely persuaded him, like, yeah, you know, we just ordered you like a pizza, and we paid for it, because we had his address, we had everything, like, we didn't live in the same state or anything, but we had his like full docs and and all that stuff. So we were like, all right, well, we're gonna have some fun with this dude. So he's sitting there on the webcam, and we were like, Brett, you should do something funny in order to kind of like repay us for getting you the pizza. And he was like, all right, what? And we came up with the idea that we're gonna have him set up his laptop somehow facing the front door, so when the pizza gets there, we could see his reaction when he realizes that he has to pay for it and he has no money. And the reason that we knew that he had no cash is because he had just mentioned how he wanted pizza, but he didn't have cash before we ordered this pizza for him. So what we did is we convinced him like, oh, okay, well, just like fake having a seizure when the guy answers the door or something. So basically what happened was Brett took his computer and he set it out. I think it was on like a little coffee table in the living room or something, but it was facing the door enough where we could see the majority of the action. And what happened was he, knocked on the door. The pizza dude was there, and Brett answers the door, all hyped up to get his pizza, like, oh, all I gotta do is fuck with this guy a little bit. And Brett's kind of, answering the door, being awkward, and he's just like, hello. And then the dude's like, your total is like $20.99, because we ordered him this pizza from Pizza Hut, and it was this large cheeseless and sauceless pizza with anchovies and like green peppers, I think, and then we got the stuffed crust, and it was like it was the biggest size pizza, and it was like it was the triple stuffed crust actually, and then we got him like I think chicken wings or something, I don't know. So the guy, he had to explain, and we just kind of watched, because now he was like really, really pissed off, and he realized, and he was genuinely concerned that he was going to get in trouble for this deep shit, which he didn't, but I'm getting to that part. So he shuts the door after explaining, like, oh, I don't have any cash, my friends pranked me and shit like that. And we did it a few more times after that, except without telling him that pizza was coming. So we just drop him pizzas every now and then for the hell of it. I don't fucking know. It was fun. And we were on a hangout that same day, and Pizza Hut customer service called him, asking him, we need to stop, to cut it out and stop fake ordering pizzas and shit like that. So I guess he's on the Pizza Hut blacklist now, and my phone just shut off for some reason. Hold on, let's reopen it. So yeah, that's basically my best prank. And then next question, let me scroll through here. Hashtag Ask Goblin, soar or obey? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't really follow sniping or like trick shotting that much anymore, but I have to say obey, just because from what I've seen from them lately, they've been killing it, so props to them. Next question from Mr. Bombtastic, excuse me, fuck my life. Hashtag Ask Goblin, how many girls have you been with in your lifetime? Actually, I've only actually like dated and really kind of been with one girl. I mean, I've like talked to others and shit like that, but I've only actually ever like been with, and I guess been with pretty much means dating the one girl that I dated for like 10 months, and we broke up like 3 weeks ago. So I mean, yeah, I haven't really had enough time to kind of dive into a new pussy, slide the VIP pass, get the fast pass up in that Disney World pussy, So, I mean, hey, I'm still on the market. Ladies, ring my doorbell sometime. Next question from this Lubbin guy, once again, Lub Tarts. Hashtag Ask Goblin, apple juice or orange juice? Apple juice, hands down. Hands down. This is, I don't even know why the fuck you asked me this. And this is the final question. I actually did answer all the questions. Wow, okay. Hashtag Ask Goblin, from a scale of 1 to 10, what's your favorite color of the alphabet? Okay. All right. Fuck you. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I hope you, and I just punched the shit out of my mic. Fuck. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please drop a like and a comment. Let's go for 90 likes on this video. If you guys want me to do another Q&A video, please drop a comment saying so. If you guys, have more questions that you want answered or anything like that, also drop a comment asking me questions, because I reply to comments if they're, kind of in need of a reply, I guess you could say. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, let's go for 90 likes, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
They said they wanted more. 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 The takeover's about to begin. This cat will pounce with a grin. Any mouse best learn to bow to a king. The breakdown announced for the cling. This crowd will learn to frown from a grin. Best float or drown when you swim, fam, bow to a king. Cause I'm the big shark and I see these trout surrounding my fins. Better catch up, it's unfair. Show no fair. Man, I like this, don't spit so clear. Crystal meth flow, piff so neck pro sick. I'm the best to spit. Ooh, yeah.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a rant about girls who lie about being virgins, and it is kind of becoming a big issue, and I wanted to discuss it. But before I dive into that, I would like to ask for 90 likes on this video in honor of some more BO2 gameplay, and I got my first upload on Doom the other day, but you guys can go to their channel and check out. It is the 51-second Chem Strike, which was really, really awesome, so, hit up Doom's channel in my sub box and go check them out. It's pretty badass. It's one of my favorite gameplays, personally. But yeah, let's go for 90 likes in honor of my first upload on Silent Doom and BO2 gameplay. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the rant. So, as I mentioned earlier, what I'm talking about today is girls who lie about being virgins. And this is it kind of dumbfounds me that girls even do this, because it's just like, why the fuck would you do that? Why you gotta play me like that? You know, like, come on, bae. You told me you were a virgin, and then you get your pants down, and you already got the roast beef snatch, and then I dive in there, and I literally have to kind of angle my penis at the right trajectory to even feel anything, because it's so beat and torn down there. And eventually I just fall in, got some cobwebs in there, whip out my lighter, 3 other homies chilling there like, you fell for it too? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, welcome to the club. You know, it's just like, ladies, why do you do that? You know, why? And guys, there's some guys who do this too. They'll lie about being a virgin, so then a girl is like, oh, well, I'll take his virginity. However, with guys, there's no real, like, surefire way to tell. With girls, you can kind of tell, because the first time that a girl has sex, it's supposed to hurt. Like, no matter, unless they shove, like, a fucking broomstick up their cooch, then that's a different thing. I guess it won't hurt. But normally, with a typical young lady who isn't, you know, already rocking them dildos at the age of 12, it should hurt. So if you're going on a girl that says she's a virgin and she says to, like, go harder, like shit like that, you're like, all right, wait a second. Something's up here. Something's trippy. I'm going home. You know, put your jacket back on, pull your pants back up. We're going home. I'll buy you a cab. You know, it's just like, I don't get why girls do it, because what is the benefit here? Okay. If you lie about being a virgin, all right, let's say you do, then what happens when the dude finds out that you're not a virgin before him? Like, what happens then? He's gonna feel terrible, because, you know, he thought he was first in line for the new game. You know, he thought he was first in line for the brand new CoD Advanced Warfare. That's essentially what it was like. He thought he was first in line for the pussy, you know, and that's a very good feat to accomplish. And, you know, if it feels great for him, and then he finds out he been lied to, he been cheated in that kind of way, you know, his virginity count has been lowered, possibly to 0, because, you know, it's getting kind of rare nowadays. There's a lot of thoughties out there, but it's just, the girls, like, if you lie about being a virgin, there's a lot of dudes who aren't necessarily attracted to girls being virgins in the first place. I don't know why girls think that. Like, there's some guys that are, sure. However, if a girl's a virgin, then she's not going to be good the first time. And, you know, most guys are pretty fully aware of that. Like, no matter how good you think you are, you're going to look back on the first time you had sex and you're going to be like, what the fuck was I doing? I remember, you know, personally, I kind of had those thoughts a couple times, and I'm sure pretty much every guy and girl has after their first time. They look back after having it a couple more times, and they just kind of sit there, scratch their heads and go like, so what was I doing in that maneuver? You know, their fucking first time just kind of laying there like, okay, I'm going to take the dong this time. You know, 3 times later, after they just got done riding the D, they're going to think back about the first time and be like, all right, I was fucking terrible. And, you know, I'm so sorry, Jeffrey. You know, call him up, be like, hey, I'm sorry that I was bad the first time. But, you know, girls just, like, when you lie about being a virgin, that is just the ultimate hoe activity. That is like, all right, sound the alarm, go on full lockdown. This is hoe activity right here. Because if they're hiding it, then they're hiding other stuff too. And they could be hiding who they fucked around with, you know? So, for example, let's say, you know, you're dating a girl right now. Let's say you're chilling with her. She seems great. And then little did you know, she's been fucking around. You know, she fucked Chief Keef or some crazy shit like that. She doesn't want people to find out about that, because if you're gonna be with a girl who has fucked Chief Keef, then she's got connections to other dudes and shit. She's probably like, she may be your main girl, but I guarantee she's 50 other dudes side hoe, you know? So that's kind of red flag right there. You're not getting the VIP pass anymore. You got the fucking bronze medal in that pussy. You're not there anytime soon, you know? And it's kind of like, let me think of how to put it for a second. Give me a second here. How can I put this? You know? Okay. Basically, that is more of a hoe activity than just going around and fucking dudes left and right. If you lie about it, you could fuck 10 dudes and lie about it and say you're a virgin, but if you fuck 15 dudes and you're honest about it, that's less of hoe activity, because at least you're just being straight up about it. Hoes are shady. They're like snakes in the grass. You know, you kind of got to watch out for them. When you're dating a girl, you got to watch out for those red flags of the hoe activity, and you got to just chop them out real quick. You got to straight up call her out, be like, hey, you know, I know I've been dating you for like 10 years. I know we've been married for 3 years, and I know we have 2 kids together. However, you're a thought, therefore I'm going to have to divorce you. I'm no longer interested in you. I'll have full custody of the kids, because I don't want our daughter Lucy turning into a thought. And then, you know, 3 years later, when Lucy is, let's say, 4 years old, she's already being a thoughty, wearing them thongs to the beach and shit, you know? It's just like, ladies, don't do it. If you're a female and you're listening to this commentary, don't do it. And, you know, it's more of like high school girls that do that, because by college, the majority of girls aren't virgins unless they like made some pledge to stay like abstinent or something like that, or they just maybe weren't really rocking the best looks in high school, maybe that kind of thing. So, just girls, don't do it. If you're listening to this, it's a bad idea. I'm telling you, nope, cut it off right now. Red flag, don't do that. There's other ways to go about getting the dong from a guy and telling him that you're a virgin and then having him pull his pants down and have that roast beef snatch. That's not a way to go about it, because then you can tell. You can just tell. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. It was shorter than my normal videos, which I hope you guys like or are at least okay with. Let's go for 90 likes, like I mentioned earlier, in honor of some BO2 gameplay, and now this rant, now that it's over, and my first upload on Doom the other day, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Lord have mercy, Ilago. No bullshit, I'm in Chicago. Line around the corner, that's like every place that I go. Nah, ho, next stop is Colorado. Getting 10 now, but I remember when it was 5 though. And before that, it was 1. Before that, it was none. Before that, I record that before class was fun. But boy, look at me now. Your girl come with us cause she's bored like a rebound. You can't blame it out, cause Micah make her scream loud.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with another episode of Storytime with Goblin. We've got a pretty interesting story for you guys, but before I dive into that, I would like to ask for 90 likes on the story, just in honor of, I don't know, my stories really seem to always do the best on this channel, so I hope you guys will really enjoy this one as much as the others, which is, I guess the only reason I'm even asking for 90 likes. So yeah, let's go for 90 likes on this video, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's dive right into the story. So basically, what I'm telling you guys about today is the time when there was this one lady who was at the beach with her kids when I was on vacation one time, and she went absolutely fucking batshit crazy, and it was actually a pretty funny situation. Alright, so I guess I'm going to kind of have to give you guys like the basis of this. Basically, every year, and I've mentioned this in a few commentaries before, I know I have, I go on vacation somewhere in Michigan. I'm not going to say like the exact town, but it's up by like Traverse City. If you guys know where that is, if you live in Michigan, you probably do know where that is, but if not, it's basically on like the very like northern part of Michigan. And basically, I go there every year for like a week, and there's like some really nice beaches on Lake Michigan that you can go to, and there's a lot of like, there's always tons of people there over the summer. And when I was a little kid, I used to love going to the beach and swimming. I still love swimming, but I'm not really like a beach guy. I'm more like I like to go swim in the pool or like at like the gym when they have those big pools where you can do laps and stuff. I like that kind of swimming. But when I was a little kid, I loved the beach because swimming was like my thing. I love getting in the water and like swimming or like playing, catch in the water, just going, seeing how deep I could go without getting fucking eaten by a shark or drowned or raped or kidnapped or some bullshit. So I was also, on top of really loving the beach, which is like why I would go there almost every day when I was on vacation, I was also a really outgoing kid. And this happened when I was like 6 or 7, I think. And I still am an outgoing dude, but when I was a kid, I had like literally nothing was off limits. I had balls. So I would just go up to random kids. I didn't care what age. I would just be like, hey, you want to play? Or hey, you want to help me with this or something like that? I didn't give a fuck. So I remember I was on the beach and I was digging this hole, and I wanted to make like a super big hole and make like a hot tub kind of thing. So what I did is I would like take the water, and the sand was like really hot because it was a super hot day. It was like 95 or some shit. And I would dump the water into the hole, and the like heat of the sand and the sun would like heat up the water and make it like a warm little like sauna kind of thing. So what I did is I went and recruited this like squadron of peasant children to do my dirty work, I guess. I got these 3 other kids. I don't even remember their names, so I'm just gonna give them like fake names, I guess. There was like 2 guys and this girl. I think the oldest kid was like 8, and then the kid who I'm gonna be mainly focusing on the story was like 7 or 6. So he was like around my age, and then the girl was like 5 or some shit. The girl was pretty young. And basically what we did is we would all go out, and there was 2 of us who would be like the water runners, and 2 of us would dig. It was me and this other kid who were digging, and then we had the girl and the like 8-year-old kid would go out and get the water. So I would like sit there digging, and we dug this deep as shit too, and it was a big hole. It was like, oh my god, I don't even know the dimensions of it. It was just a really, really big hole to the point where like we could all fit our legs in it and like chill. So it was like at least like a 4-person, I guess like lake warmer. I don't know what else to fucking call it. So basically we were like, running out, filling up with water and digging, and finally we finished it. And it was kind of boring because we just kind of sat there talking and like chilling out and be like, yeah, I like popsicles and titties, and I also like crayons and cock, and it was just kind of a typical first grade conversation, and then we all decided that we wanted to throw things in there as like, I guess like a sacrifice to the demon lord. I don't fucking know. So I think we just kind of wanted to bury them as like, I don't know, something cool. Like, oh, maybe some fucking faggots from the future in 2,000 years, excuse me. Fuck's sake, I cannot speak today. We'll come dig it up or some shit. So you're like, all right. So we all went and grabbed our own little things to throw in. I just threw in my shovel because I didn't really give a fuck. It wasn't even my shovel. I found it on the beach. I didn't care. So I tossed in my shovel. You know, I think the girl, she brought back some sort of like shell or something, you know, and the 8-year-old kid, I don't know, he brought back like a fucking rock. And then the kid who was digging with me, we're just gonna call him Danny, he didn't come back for a little bit, you know. We were kind of waiting on Danny to come back and help us finish up, you know, this sacrificial ceremony that we were having, you know, praise Satan, I guess, I don't fucking know. And eventually he comes running back and he has something like shiny in his hand, and it was kind of reflective, so we couldn't really tell exactly what it was from a distance. But as he got closer, he was running from like his mom's towel, I guess, and I guess his parents were like sleeping while this happened. And he had like this necklace. I don't remember exactly what it looked like. I just remember that it did look pretty nice from what I like vaguely remember of it. And he tossed it in, and we were like, all right, you know, we didn't like object to it because we were like fucking 6. We didn't give a shit what he threw in. So, you know, we filled it all back up with sand after we were done because, you know, I think if I remember right, I think it was like the girl who had to go, and we didn't want to like keep enjoying the warmth of the hole. That sounded so fucking wrong. But the warmth of our creation without her. So, you know, we were like, all right, so we just fucking filled it up with sand after we threw our little sacrifices in there, and we just kind of chilled out. You know, we went in the water swimming for a little bit, and then eventually the one kid, Danny, he was like, all right, well, you know, I'm gonna go back to my like beach towel thing. It's not actually what he said. He's just like, I'll be right back, or like something like that, some fucking 7-year-old phrase. I don't fucking know. So he goes over to his towel, and at this point his mom's awake, and she's kind of like, from what I remember, because we were like fairly close to them, like close enough where I could see, but not too close where we could like interact with them, I guess, but we could still like hear them and see them and stuff. And his mom was like searching for something, and all of a sudden I saw like him kind of like say something or point somewhere, and she like freaked the fuck out. She was like, what the fuck? She was like, I swear to God, I thought she was gonna smack the shit out of that kid, just go all fucking jujitsu on this fucking kid, like combo move, finisher attack, just fucking drop his ass, hit him with that 1-2 punch, and I just fucking hit my pop filter, speaking of the 1-2 punch, god damn it. But anyways, she was like freaking out. She was like, why did you do that? Like, where did you put it? What the fuck? Like shit like that, and she was swearing and stuff, and there's like, you know, 6-year-old kids everywhere, and there's, you know, young ladies with big titties, so they're looking at her like, what the fuck? And like shit like that, and she runs over to like the general vicinity of where her hole was, and at this point I didn't even know where it was, because it was like, I want to say like a 20 minutes previously that we had covered up the hole and stuff. And so the sand that was like, it was semi-dry, like you could kind of see if you look closely, but like not really. And I remember she was like kicking around the sand and like looking around for it and shit like that, and apparently that was her necklace, and that was like her, I guess, favorite necklace or something, or it meant a lot to her somehow, or I guess she just really gave a shit about how much money she spent on it, and she freaked the fuck out. Oh my god. And she was flipping out and swearing, and I think someone called like the beach security over, and the lifeguards had to like escort her and her family off of the beach. Like they literally took her arms and like walked her back to her car, and she pointed out like which car was hers, and they fucking like kicked her off of the beach. And it was the funniest shit ever, because it was like this raw ass motherfucker Danny just took his mom's necklace and tossed it in. He doesn't give a fuck. He's savage as shit. That's some raw shit, Danny. You my homie, you know? So shouts to Danny. If you're listening to this, you're in my squad, you're my homie, you're raw as fuck for that one. Let's go for 90 likes on this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe if you didn't already. Good God, I cannot talk today, excuse me. And also drop a like and a comment sharing your thoughts if you have any similar stories of, I don't know, taking your mom's jewelry. I don't fucking know. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go for 90 likes on this video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
The rain is on the window, the lights are in the sky. My dear, we have to leave before the floor is where we lie. The driver's in the car, he'll take us to a bar that be so dark that we forget just who we are. I've rented out our past, I'm buying up our future. Used to look for new beginnings when you're out buying a toothbrush. The world stops spinning, the kids stop grinning, and the priest.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with basically a commentary where I'm kind of going to be talking about the vacation that I just went on. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you will know I tweeted a ton about my vacation. So, I mean, if you guys have a Twitter, then you should already know about this, and if not, then you must just never use Twitter, or you don't pay attention to my tweets, which that hurts my feelings, you know? Like, that's not cool, man. Like, why follow me if you don't, like, like my tweets, you know? And if you're subbed to me, why not follow me, you know? So anyways, you know, fuck that crying shit. I'm not that much of a pussy, you know, I am a pussy, but not that much. But anyways, today I wanted to talk about my vacation because it was pretty eventful, and there are some kind of funny things I would like to share with you guys. This might be a 2-part commentary, I don't know, because there is really a lot that I want to share with you guys because, you know, it was fucking awesome. I love California a whole lot. But yeah, before I dive into that, I would like to ask for 100 likes on this video because you guys have really been dropping the likes like crazy lately, and I want to thank you guys so much for all of the support. Also, thank you guys a ton for 1.8k. I've been really, just my channel's been on the, you know, the come up lately. I've been doing really good. My ratings have been through the roof. My views have been awesome. I've been getting a lot of uploads on Doom, and I've also rejoined Vault. I'm dual rostering Doom and Vault with permission from CoD because Ethan asked CoD, so I'm proud to announce that I'm now Vault Goblin and Doom Goblin. So, you know, I'm back with my homeboys in Doom. So, or not Doom, Vault, excuse me, and I'm still with my homeboys in Doom. But anyways, yeah, just wanted to announce that and, you know, ask for 100 likes on this before I dive into the commentary topic. So, anyways, basically, today I wanted to talk about my vacation, and I'm going to talk about the first part of it because the second part of it is, in my opinion, the more eventful part, which I will save for the kind of sequel to this commentary, I guess. But today I'm talking about this girl who was basically kind of, I guess you could say, love at first sight, except I don't really love her. It's kind of like, I don't know, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I was basically at the airport, and I was tweeting about this chick who I saw in the security line, and she was this girl with bangs. I don't even know her name. I never asked her name, which is, I don't know why, but, you know, we were getting kind of, you know, like, we were talking, we were close. So basically how this started out is I was in the security line at the airport, right? We already had our bags checked, and we were standing in line at security. You know, I was like emptying my pockets at this point, or I was getting ready to, because I was like, I think 3 people away from having to empty my pockets, and my phone just went off. Sorry if you guys heard that. But anyways, so basically, I had, you know, like I was pulling myself out of my pockets, and I made one last tweet, and I was like looking behind me, and there was this really, really cute girl in line with bangs, and I'd never really seen a girl that was attractive with bangs. So I was like, holy shit, I was blown away. It was like a tornado hit me. I was like, holy fuck! And, you know, I told everyone else in the security line, I was like, hey, there's a cute-ass chick, like 2 rows back, gotta hit her up, like, and then I looked her in the eyes, and I was like, hey, babe, you got a kick? Nah, but anyways, so basically I was in line, and I just kind of noticed her, and I was like, damn, she is cute. So the line was moving really fast, so I knew she was hot on my tail, you know, she was chasing my ass. You know, she wanted the dick from first sight. I know, even though we didn't make eye contact until after the line, because she wasn't looking at me, and I was too nervous to make eye contact with her, because then she'd think I was creepy. So anyways, I had, you know, gotten out of the security line, I'd gotten all my stuff checked, I didn't have a bomb, thank God. You know, sometimes I do end up misplacing a frag grenade in my pocket every now and then. So I walked through the security line, all was good, and I was waiting for my dad to get through, and my dad was taking a long time to get through. I don't know why. Apparently he had, you know, a lot of cocaine in his pockets or some shit. I don't fucking know. So finally he got through, and by that point, the girl with the bangs was right up close to getting through the security thing. So I was like, ooh, we about to, you know, pull out our game here. We about to, you know, get right back in that game, boys. Let's go. I've been retired for a long time, been on vacation. Let's go. So I was waiting in the line, and my dad came out of the little, like, metal detector thing, X-ray, whatever the fuck you want to call it, thing you have to walk through at the airport where, you know, they, like, scan you for, you know, weapons and cocaine and shit like that. So he walked through it, and then Bangs Girl comes through, like, 5 minutes later, and 5 minutes later, we were still getting ready because my dad had so much fucking shit in his, like, carry-on bag that he had to empty out, and he had so much stuff in his pockets. So she walks through, and my dad's still getting ready. I'm all ready, so I'm just kind of walking around, and Bangs Girl, this is actually perfect. This is the smoothest shit I've ever done in my life. She drops her little, like, I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like, fuck, what did she drop? I don't remember. She dropped something. It wasn't like a bag, but it was like, it was some possession of hers. It might have been her phone. I actually don't really remember exactly what it was, but either way, my phone went off again. God damn it. Fuck you. Oh shit, I might have actually just cracked my screen. I don't know if you guys heard that. Alright, fuck, I have an iPhone. I don't know why I threw that. Anyways, okay, so, fuck, okay, now I'm nervous. But anyways, so basically, what had happened was, you know, I picked it up for her. We're just gonna say it was her phone because I just whipped my phone into the fucking wall. So I picked it up and I handed it to her, and then she was like, oh, thank you. So we were kind of like, she was waiting for her family as well. This is convenient. She had like, well, it looked like she had a brother with her. I couldn't tell if it was little or like older. I don't know. Either way, she had a brother with her, and she had like a larger family than mine because I was only traveling with my dad. I'm an only child, and my parents are divorced, and I was going on this vacation. It's like a Father's Day celebration kind of thing. Just kind of, you know, chill out with my dad for Father's Day, and, you know, pretty much like his Father's Day present, except he's paying for it, which is kind of lame. But anyways, so basically, I was talking to this girl, and I was just kind of, you know, getting to know her, like, oh, well, what's up, and stuff like that, and we were talking, and then, you know, I found out that she was on the exact same flight as me. I was like, where are you heading? She's like, California, and I was like, where in California? And she's like, LA, and I'm like, oh, what time is your flight? And then she said something like, I believe we took off at 8:50. She said like, oh, like 8:50, like 9 o'clock or something like that, and I was like, shit, you're on the same flight as me, and we were like, oh, that's cool, and we kind of like, you know, hit it off, but we never really got anywhere because I never got her fucking phone number, and I'm so stupid for not doing that. But anyways, you know, we were chatting for a while, and, you know, even while while she was back with her family, she was kind of like trailing behind them, like talking to me, and I was kind of like talking to her every now and then, like, because like my dad was still like fairly close to me. So I think my dad, he was kind of like, looking back at me like, yeah, you go, my little player, you get that pussy. And I was like, yeah, you know a homeboy, you got me, dad. So I was talking to her, and everything was going well. She was a really cute girl. Like, oh my fuck, she was flawless. Holy shit, she was cute. But anyways, so we were talking. Eventually, my dad got in line at Starbucks because my dad's literally pretty much a white girl. Like, he watches Glee, he drinks Starbucks, all that shit. So anytime you pass a Starbucks or anything like that, he just fucking has to go. He's going. So I got in line, and she had to go back with her family. So she's like, hey, we'll talk later. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. So while I was in line, I was tweeting, and, I had a few people reply to me telling me, copper ring, copper virginity, copper heart, copper emotion, shit like that. It was fun. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you got to partake in interacting with me as I was in my pursuit of love with this cute, absolutely fucking beautiful girl with bangs. I don't know. She was amazing. Holy fuck. But anyways, so eventually she kind of like she pretty much went straight to the gate. And I kind of know this because I went there like right after Starbucks. I just went straight to the gate, and I didn't have a number. So I couldn't like ask her like, hey, where you at, bae? Come suck my dick in the B room. Where it at, bae? So I went over to the gate to sit with my dad, and she was there. So we kind of continued talking, and I kind of like went and sat like in this little open area, which was like a couple seats away from my dad. And then we kind of like met in the middle of like where our families were. So we sat together and we were talking. It wasn't getting like flirty or anything. I wasn't really trying to like go at it too aggressively, because I'm like, well, I've never even met this girl before, so I don't want to come off as the first impression of like I'm a thirsty motherfucker. So I was just kind of like, all right, well, hey, like we should, maybe we should like, keep talking some more, like get to know each other or something. And she's like, oh yeah, that's great. And we were just talking, like it was all casual conversation. Like, what do you like to do in your free time? And I found out, she likes to listen to music, and she watches TV. Asked her what TV show. She watches The Walking Dead. That's raw as fuck. So, naturally, I was just happy as fuck about that. I was like, yeah, because I love The Walking Dead, And then I found out she's also from Chicago. She lives in Chicago, not the town that I'm in, so fairly far, but we can make it work, bae. Pretty girl like that, I'll fucking drive to Chicago every day. I don't give a fuck, she's cute. So anyways, we boarded the plane, and excuse me, my God, I still have like a slight cold. But anyways, so basically my dad, when we fly, like he's obsessed with first class. So he always buys his first class tickets. And hey, I'm not complaining, except it makes me look like a snobby rich douchebag. But either way, I'm not complaining. So we're sitting in first class, and she walks by me, and she just kind of, hits me with that little smile, because she's sitting in coach. So we didn't really talk at all during the flight. She walked by to go to the bathroom once and just kind of waved to me, and I waved back, and then that was pretty much it. And then we got off the plane, she got off the plane. I was just kind of like saying hey to her, and it was like a quick little like exchange of just like hellos. And then she had to go with her family. And as she was walking away, she was going the other way, and I was going to the bag collection. I don't know where her family was going. I didn't even see her because our bags came out like second. So my dad literally, like, we grabbed our suitcases and just went to the fucking cab, like right there. We were just out there in LAX, and I never saw her. And I realized as I was walking out of the airport, I was like, oh, fuck, no, because I never got her phone number, and that sucked ass. I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know. I felt like I could have hit it off. She was cute as hell. She was, oh my God. Bangs girl, excuse me. Well, blonde Bangs girl, because she was blonde as well. So yeah, blonde Bangs girl, if you're out there listening to this, or if you're just an attractive young lady with blonde bangs, hit me up. Bae, I miss you. You were my everything for like a couple hours. I love you. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a like and a comment, and there will be a part 2 to this one, which is even more entertaining. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go for 100 likes, and share your stories of any, love at first sight or just airport shit. I don't know. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Everything is alright. Everything is alright. Just ride with a motherfucker. Keep it real, never lie to a motherfucker. Hold me down. Chillin' in the got a Vita, rockin' Adidas with a senorita, and she sippin' liquor by the leader. That's royalty. Like the homie Gambino, he know we be in the casino, lighting Cubans with a C-note. I'ma fuck the game. Take it, it's my libido, coming up shorter than Danny DeVito. Whenever I step on the beat, ho, like a killer on the creep slope. Have my share of defeat, but we still gon' eat, ho. Why the fans?
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a rant/explanation. I don't really know what the fuck to call this video, but basically I'm kind of explaining my quote-unquote exposing video, and I said quote-unquote because that's kind of a loose term for what this video really is. I wouldn't really classify this as exposing at all. I would just kind of classify this as 1v1ing Doom Goblin when he had a ballistic knife, and then he removed you at the end of it. So basically, I just kind of want to break down this video, because normally I probably wouldn't respond to something like this. Excuse me, I can't talk. I'm tired as hell. But anyways, normally I wouldn't really respond to something like this. However, this one is kind of different, because this one, it pretty much it pissed me off that the majority of his claims in this were bullshit. The reason that he was exposing me and the shit he said over Twitter was bullshit. If this dude just put up the video alone, I wouldn't give two fucks. You know, go get like 20 views and 5 likes. I don't give a fuck. However, when you start spewing bullshit about the shit that happened in that video, that's when the line is crossed, and that's when I'm going to react and make a video like this, basically explaining what the hell this is. And I assume that probably some of you may have seen it. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen it probably earlier this morning / early this afternoon, and I just felt like explaining it. So basically, to start in this video, I've linked it in the description so you guys can watch it while you like listen to my commentary and just mute the audio in that, or watch that and then come back to this. I don't care. Or watch this first and then go to that. I don't care. But basically, what happened in this video to start is, you know, he gave this little fucking explanation. I don't know. He was saying like, oh, Doom Goblin wanted me to upload it. Yeah, I did want to upload it. I want to see what you're going to expose me for. All right. And he uploaded it. And then after the little like minute and a half explanation, basically, what I did is, this guy was in the party, right? And he cut it off right to this point. He showed nothing before that. But basically, you guys know my personality. You subs, you know what I do, what I talk about, how I am. I'm kind of a jokester, I guess you could say. I fuck around a lot, both on the mic and off the mic. You know, when I'm on YouTube, I'm still fucking around. I'm goofy, you know, I make jokes in my comms. I'm not a serious dude, and this is the only commentary that I'm probably ever going to make or make in a long time that is genuinely serious. And even off this mic right here, when I'm sitting on that Xbox, I play with subs all the fucking time, and I goof around with them too. This is not like a one-time amazing, unique surprise thing. I do stuff like this a lot with subs, and never once have I had anyone have an issue with it, because it's all fun and games, and they know that. I like to have fun with my subs, and I treat you guys as friends, and this guy didn't quite get the memo on this one. So what I did is I pretended to call Doom cold. He's the leader of Doom, if you guys don't know that, and basically the reason I did that is because this guy was talking, I don't remember exactly what he was saying. He was saying something about this old clan that he led, and the other leaders like kicked him out, even though he's one of the founders, and he's making a new clan that hosts like private mass tryouts and stuff. And I got the idea, hey, it'd be funny if first I convince him that he's blacklisted, and then I convince him that I'll get him in if he does this private mass tryout. I thought it'd be a pretty good joke to pull on the dude, and I didn't think it'd cause anything, but apparently he just had to have a riot over the fact, like, no, I can't take a joke today. No, jokes, no humor. So basically what I did is I pretended to call cold, and you never heard anyone's voice on the other end, because before I even dive into explaining the rest of this, why the hell would I have Cold's phone number? Like, if you are genuinely gullible enough to believe that I would actually have Cold's phone number and then call and get you blacklisted from Doom for no reason, something's a little wrong. Something's a little off in your thinking process. I don't really know how else to put it. But anyways, so, you know, I pretended to call Cold and get him blacklisted, which I didn't actually do because I don't have fucking Cold's number, nor did I PM him on Skype like I mentioned in that quote-unquote phone call. And then after that, it shifts to the 1v1 part. And in the entire video, from the get-go, minus his little commentary thing he did in the beginning, he has his voice muted. You only hear me and the other guy named Static in the party who are talking. You don't ever hear him, which is bullshit, because it's not really fair to expose someone for saying something when you don't know what the person that they're saying it to is saying. So, for example, let's say if I were to just go off on somebody and completely trash them, well, how could you necessarily expose me for doing that if you didn't hear what the other person was saying to me to bring me to that point to do that? You know, I don't think that's necessarily a fair exposing, which is why I think this is complete horseshit, and this kid's just thirsty for attention. So before I get to the game part, I would like to explain how this kid and I came to meet. Basically, this dude sent me a friend request, and then he sent me a message, because I have pretty much anyone who wants to add me, I have them send me a message before they add me, otherwise I'll decline it, because it just kind of makes it more fun for me to go through like friend requests, because otherwise it's just basically random picking. But if I get messages, then, you know, it's like I pick out the funniest ones, or, you know, the craziest ones, or like I've had kids like sing songs for me, you know, like it's crazy. So that kind of makes it more fun for me. So this guy sent me a message, and he was like, hey, you know, I'm really looking to join Doom sometime. I would love to play with you and stuff like that. So naturally I was like, okay. It was like 2 a.m. and he said he'd love to play with me sometime, and I just cleared off my friends list the day before, so I had a couple slots open, so I was like, all right, I'll accept him, you know. So I accepted this dude's friend request, and he had linked his YouTube, his Twitter, and his Twitch in this message. Or not his YouTube. He just had his Twitter and his Twitch, I'm pretty sure. So I went to his Twitch because I was curious. I was like, well, what's this guy do, you know? And it was like 2 a.m. I was bored. I wasn't even playing anything. So I went to this guy's Twitch, and there was a link to his YouTube. I went to his YouTube, and he uploaded this video basically asking to join Doom, and then it had like Doom Cold's at his Twitter handle in like the title of it. So every time someone would like it, it would basically be tweeted at Cold. So what this video was, it was basically, I don't know exactly how long it was. It was him, like, pretty much, I guess, asking to join Doom, and being I try to be a nice guy, okay? I am a nice person at heart, and, you know, some people may not believe that. Some people may think I'm an asshole. You guys are entitled to your opinion. I don't care if you think I'm nice or not. I just care that you guys support me, because that's what really matters to me. So I went to this guy's channel, and I decided, hey, you know, I'm going to give him a helping hand, I guess you could say, because maybe he did look like he needed some help and kind of guidance on what to do and how to go about getting in Doom, because it seemed like he kind of wasn't really, like, I guess you could say, aware of the requirements. I'm not saying that in an insulting way. I'm saying that in a way of like, oh, I can help this dude out. So I figured since I'm in Doom, well, I might as well keep this guy updated, right? So I go and comment on this video. I wrote this huge comment, and, you know, you guys can still go to his channel and read that. I'm not bullshitting about that unless he deleted the comment. And I'm actually going to put it up on the screen right now so you guys can read it right now as I talk. And I gave him all this advice, and he replied saying, like, thanks, love your videos, keep up the great work. So me and this guy were now on a friendly basis. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Well, now we're cool, you know? So I can, like, talk to him without, you know, that awkward, like, first meeting and stuff, you know? So I think it was like the day after or 2 days after, I was in a party with Unfathomable, aka Ethan, the leader of Vault, this other guy named Static, I believe he's a sub of mine, I'm pretty sure, and then this guy joins the party. I already forgot his name, actually. Perma or something? I don't know what his name is anymore, but anyways, so he joins the party, you know, we're talking for a bit, and then eventually, you know, we're gonna skip over all like the prank calling Cold and stuff like that. We're gonna get right to the game. So the game starts, and I'm hosting a quote-unquote Doom tryout, and I'm fucking with him from the start. Doom does not host tryouts, and the only reason I got the inspiration for this is because he said that the new clan he was starting was hosting private match tryouts, and I was like, well, Doom does that too, let's go, man. And I was kidding. I mean, if you couldn't tell that I was kidding from this video, I mean, not only did I have a sarcastic tone, or at least I think that I did, what kind of clan, especially a clan as large as Doom, would host tryouts that would require you to sit on a couch next to a mannequin to pass the common sense test, you know? Like, what the fuck? Like, how would you even buy that, you know? And he didn't buy it. He didn't. He like, the whole game, he was like, stop trolling me, shit like that. And okay, I understand you asked me to stop trolling me over and over, and you can say that all you want, but at the end of the day, if you really had a problem with it, you can leave the lobby at any time. Never once in the video did I say you couldn't leave. There's a leave button when you press start, you go down, and then you hit leave game, and then you confirm it, and there you go, you're out. You don't have to be there anymore. So you can't really justify that as something to hold against me when I never said you couldn't leave the lobby, you know? So basically I'm doing that, and I'm taking him through these like 4 stages of this thing, and it started out kind of like he seemed a little annoyed by it, but I was like, all right, well, I'll keep the joke going. Let's see if I can maybe mess with this guy or get a laugh out of this guy or something like that, because I'm a fun dude. I like to goof around. I don't really take much shit seriously except for this, you know? So I'm taking him to basically like 4 different spots on the map, because I came up with like 4 little stations just on the fly to like quote unquote interview him for Doom. And by the time he got to the 4th station, he was pissed off, and he'd been gradually kind of like insulting me and swearing at me, calling me a faggot, and being like, dude, fucking stop, like, it's getting annoying, like, you're being a faggot right now and shit like that. And I didn't really say anything back till the very end of the game, and what I said back wasn't even that bad. So basically this entire game, after we'd gotten through like the 4 stations of interviewing, I guess you could say, this kid, right? He basically challenges me to a 1v1, which is what he wanted to do from the start, but I'm a commentator. I don't 1v1. I'm not trying to get shit on, because I'm fully aware that I don't have gun skill. I'm not good at CoD. That's why I talk, not play, you know? And he just doesn't understand. He's like, why won't you 1v1 me? Like, you know, I'm going to smack you. And I'm like, no shit, you probably fucking will. I'm not a player. Like, congratulations, right? And it was getting annoying, because he kind of had this ego to him. And right from the get-go, he was talking about himself. Right the moment he joined the party, he was talking about his clan and all of his stuff. So I kind of got this little sense of like selfishness when we spoke the first time, right? So he was basically getting to kind of gradually more and more insulting and just fucking calling me out, pretty much being like, oh, you know, you're being a faggot and shit like that. And then there was a point in the video towards the end of the match where I went on like I think I killed him like 5 times in a row with a ballistic knife or something like that. And he was like, oh, what do you do? Just sit inside all day playing COD? And I was like, no, I'm away at the dashboard like all fucking day. And he was like, oh, well then like, what do you do? Like your fucking house is gonna overheat or some shit like that. It was something that played out like that. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. That's why towards the end of it, I said I don't give a fuck like twice in a row, because he was saying like, oh, isn't your Xbox gonna overheat? And I was like, yeah, I don't fucking care, you know? And he just pretty much kind of, I guess you could say, battered me throughout the majority of the game. And, you know, I was keeping my cool because I didn't want to fucking argue. I'm not one to argue. I don't like arguing with people. It's not something I enjoy doing or having to ever put up with, but I gotta fucking argue with this kid because apparently he thinks, well, maybe if I just mute out with the shit that I was saying and deny that I was talking shit and then quote-unquote expose Doom Goblin, then I'll get some attention that I so desperately need, because it's very obvious you are pretty damn desperate for attention if you go around adding Doom members and then sending around links to your social media and shit. That's fucking desperate, okay? That's downright depressing. Like, that's just, no. I mean, pretty much what I'm thinking is this kid just added me because I was in Doom. That's pretty much it. But anyways, back on topic. So then at the end of the game, right? It was towards the end, and I straight up told him, like, I'm hitting him with that remove, you know? Because I didn't like this kid's attitude. He was being cocky. He was being a douchebag about what was a simple joke. And if he had a problem with it, like, the whole time he was just like, well, dude, like, I asked you to stop trolling me. Like, you could have fucking left the game. Anytime in that fucking game, you could have left. Like, you don't have to sit there and stay. So this kid, you know, finally, game's over. Finally, I'm like, I don't like your attitude. You're being fucking cocky, and you can't be cocky when you're in a 20 sub clan, because you can't fucking do that. You can't sit there bragging about your amount of immense skill and being cocky when you're in a 20 sub clan. You just can't do that. And that's not me being cocky either. I didn't brag about my sub count. I'm just saying you can't do that shit when you have like 20 subs. You can't do that, you know? And it pisses me off that this kid's now going to try to make me look bad to people that, I've never probably even seen before. Because the people that have seen my videos that see this, you guys will know I'm not a douchebag. I'm not like that. If you guys are subs and viewers and you have played with me before, you know that I'm a nice dude. I play with my subs all the time. I play with my subs way more than I play with anybody else. I think I have like 3 Doom members added, and then pretty much the entirety of my friends list, minus a few former like Vault members and some other dudes I've known for a while, are subs. I try to accept as many friend requests as I can. I respond to messages and comments. I read you guys' feedback. I interact with you on Twitter. I'm not the kind of guy that this douchebag is portraying me to be. And something that pretty much everyone, including myself, has to live by, that I don't really, I guess I kind of forgot this today. Lions don't listen to the opinions of sheep. And this kid is a fucking sheep. Because if you're going to sit here and try to make up some bullshit story about how you didn't talk shit throughout the whole commentary, this kid on Twitter said he didn't even speak the whole commentary. Look in the top left during the game. You see the motherfucker's name pop up in response to things I'm saying. You just can't hear his voice because it wasn't recorded. So no shit, you were responding to me. Don't try to lie your way out of that one, kid. And it's just, don't listen to opinions of irrelevant people, because at the end of the day, these kids are pretty much sitting here, and you know that they're probably not going to get anywhere with what they're doing, because if they're this immature and irrelevant and they can't understand or take a simple joke or any sort of sarcasm, then let them be. Let them sit there and be irrelevant. Let them sit there and be peasants and sheep or whatever the fuck you want to call them, because at the end of the day, you're going to be further than they will, always, and that's what matters. So don't ever fucking listen or pay attention to the opinions of absolutely irrelevant wannabe shitbags that are basically there to mooch attention off of you. Because that's what these kids do. They try to rile you up so they can get attention. And I just gave into that. There you go. I made a video talking about you. I hope you're fucking happy, kid. However, know that this shit isn't going to happen again. So you got your, I guess you could say, day of fame. I don't fucking know. Whatever the hell you wanted out of this. But not only did you really went about joining Doom, or trying to join Doom in a great way. You know, upload a video asking to join Doom and a couple days later shit talk a Doom member. Well, that's fucking brilliant. That's the top way to get yourself hit with the blacklist. I don't know what else to fucking tell you, because I was kidding. But I mean, now you're actually on the fucking blacklist. Look at the comment that Swift left on your video. I don't know what else to fucking tell you. So I mean, I'm out. Don't listen to irrelevant people. That's all. Don't ever pay attention to shitbags like that, because they're just there to bring you down. And at the end of the day, they're going to make up bullshit, and your true subs and fans and viewers aren't going to believe it. So have fun with your 150 sub channel. You're not relevant. You're not shit to me. See ya.
Got that right con on my wrist, got that Nikon on my zip, got you right up on my dick. I'm fucking cocky like I'm Wonder Boy. Where's my Wonder Bread? Studying at college, so I know she giving Wonder Head. Coming up out of the shadows, gas me up like I'm a Nazi, flashing photos like you know they'll call me writing paparazzi. Slap a copy while I'm puffing on this tropic like I'm Chauncey. Got like girls and weed and music and blowjobs while watching hockey. Yeah. My name is Cayman, call me King for short. Fucking bitches over, I make cheating look just like a sport.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Goblin, and wow, I mean, I'm kind of speechless right now. This is a video that I never in my entire time on YouTube, I thought I would be sitting down and recording one day, but this is my 2,000 subscriber thank you. And this is part one of what I'm thinking will be kind of a 3-part 2K celebration, I guess you could say, because I don't really know what the other 2 parts are going to be yet, quite honestly. I didn't really plan this very well, because it kind of came faster than I expected, and I wasn't really ready for it. So it's going to take a bit of planning to kind of figure out exactly what I'm going to do for you guys for 2K, but believe me when I say I'm going to make it special, and it's going to be worth the wait. I'm going to work really hard to put out something that'll be unique and entertaining and fun for you guys. So, I mean, I just kind of wanted to sit down today and make this commentary to thank you guys. And I hope that you guys truly do listen to this whole thing, because typically I know you guys are here for all my funny rants and stories and stuff like that, but this is kind of a more in-depth kind of look at me, I guess, and more of a kind of a personal thing for me. So I really do hope that you guys sit down and listen to this commentary and listen to what I have to say in this, because it does mean a lot to me. You know, that you guys can not only appreciate the more funny and joking side of me, but also listen to and understand and at least give your time of day to the more serious and I guess you could say me side of me, really, because I really do kind of want to just sit down and talk about some stuff today. So, first off, I really do want to thank you guys a ton for all the support lately and just as a whole, because this is a point where I never really thought I would reach. You know, I've always kind of been this guy for the nearly 3 years that I've been doing YouTube and making videos on various stuff, you know, sometimes PC videos. I went through a little era of my YouTube time where I did some PC stuff. And then I kind of moved on to CoD and, you know, commentating, and now I'm here today, sitting here with 2,100 subscribers, and it's just, wow, you know? So, I mean, I never really thought I would get here, and I owe it all to you guys for really coming to my channel and supporting me. You know, no matter how long you've been here, you could have just come here after hearing this video. You could have been here for years on years and been one of my first ever subscribers on one of my first ever channels. Or pretty much anytime you come here, you know, no matter what, you're equal, you know, you're a part of my support group, you're a part of my subscriber base, and you're a part of the reason that I really make these videos and do what I do today. Because I do this for a hobby, and honestly, if it weren't for all of the support I've been getting lately, I probably would have stopped doing this a long time ago, because it's really just motivating seeing all of you guys sit down and pay attention to what I have to say and really take interest in and appreciate and love, because honestly, you know, from the ratings I've been getting lately, you guys have been loving what I'm putting out, and I love it. It's so awesome. It's cool, and it's kind of like, it's really comforting knowing that I have a group of people that will support me no matter what I talk about, you know, so I can try out a new kind of thing like this, and I know that this video will get support. I know that there will be maybe not as many like ratings as my stories and rants, but this video will at least get some attention from you guys out there who are really true supporters of me. So I thank you guys for that. You know, I don't know, I'm kind of, you know, speechless. Like I can't talk, you know. Fuck it. Goodbye everyone. I'm done. Fuck this. You know, call a taxi right now, Dad. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Nah, I'm fucking with you guys, but you know, just holy shit. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for really kind of helping me achieve my goal. You know, I've always wanted to be somewhere on YouTube, you know, and it just means a ton knowing that I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to get somewhere someday, and I'm confident in that now. If I keep at it, I'm going to get somewhere. and it's more motivating than ever. I never ever thought I'd be anywhere. I did this as a hobby for so long, you know? I spent almost 3 years building what I have today on these various channels, you know? I've hopped a lot of channels, I'll admit, and, you know, I've done stupid shit in the past, and I may have, you know, I guess you could say, how do I put it? I don't know, I've been dumb in the past, but, I mean, it's just, wow, you know? Just 2,000 people. 2,000 people watching my videos. That's amazing. And it may not sound like a lot, you know? Maybe it isn't a lot, but if you think about it from this perspective, taking 2,100 people and filling up a room or a stadium with that number of people and then sitting down and talking in front of them, that's crazy. That's pretty mind-boggling, you know? That's a lot of fucking people. So every single subscriber to this day, I'm still thankful for. And I promise you guys that I'm not going to change, you know? If I hit 10K, 100K, however far, or I don't know, that sounded kind of weird. Can I reword that? Give me a second. Hold on, give me a second chance, boys. You know, however far, I just said the same thing again. I'm fucking done. Okay, third chance, alright? Third strike, okay? You know, it doesn't matter how far I make it on YouTube. There we go, that sounds good. Okay, so it doesn't matter how far I make it on YouTube. I'm not going to change. You know, I've always kind of had this heart mentality that YouTubers should always interact with and appreciate and show some love for their subs. And I'll never change that, because I'm always going to stay humble. I'm always going to stay the guy I am today. And yeah, there's some people who are going to oppose me. There's some people who are going to hate on me. I'm already starting to stack up haters. So what? So what? It doesn't matter anymore, because back in the day, dislikes would actually bother me. Nowadays, I don't care, because dislikes, sometimes it may be someone that genuinely did enjoy the video. Sure, and if there is a genuine dislike with a genuine reason, drop a comment sharing it so I know, you know, I get some feedback. But there's also those people who just drop dislikes on my videos because they're haters. And if that's the case, I don't really care anymore. You know, at the end of the day, I have so many supporters. I have so much of you guys out there, every single one of you listening to this video right now, that it doesn't even matter to me. I don't care. I don't even pay attention to it. And it's so cool, you know? And in this future that I have built up for my channel, or at least this fantasy, I guess, I really think I'm going to make it. You know, I really think that I am going to get somewhere with this, and I think that all I need is time. All I need is time and hard work, which I've been putting in, you know? I've been putting in a ton of hard work into my videos, you know? I produce content for 3 different channels, including my own, and that's a lot of hard work, you know? It really is. It's nerve-wracking, it's time-consuming, and it's difficult. YouTube isn't easy. It isn't. If you want to get anywhere, you have to work very, very hard. And that's a lesson that you kind of have to carry with you through life, not just on YouTube. You gotta work hard to get what you want, and this is what I want. I want this to become something that I'm well known for someday. I want this to become really just something in my life, you know? More than just 2,000, more than 20,000. I want to become someone who's big, you know? I want to become, I guess you could say, YouTube famous. I don't know how else to put it, and I may not have what it takes to be there. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm sure as hell gonna try. You can bet your ass I'm gonna try, you know? And I don't know, I just kind of really want to sit down, and give you guys kind of a, you know, man-to-man thank you, I guess, or man-to-woman, you know? If you're a girl, hello. You have a vagina, hello, how are you? But yeah, just, wow. It's so crazy. I don't know, I'm really, really thankful that I've gotten here, and you know, it's wow, you know, I've got a long road ahead of me, and I hope you guys will stick with me, because it's tough, you know. Eventually I'm gonna have to change up the kind of content I make from what I'm doing now. Right now I do stories and rants. However, I don't make up stories. I'm telling you guys that right now. No matter what you guys hear, no matter what people think, you guys may not believe my stories, but you might just stay and listen to them because they're funny. I tell you guys that I do not make up stories, never have I ever, and I never will. Okay? So if it gets to the point where I'm out of stories to tell, then I'm gonna have to find something else. But, you know, I'll make do. I'll make do with what I have, and we'll worry about that in the future. For now, keep an eye out for more Storytime with Goblin and stuff like that, you know? So, I mean, yeah, just thank you guys so much for all of the support. I really, really owe it to you guys, you know? And, you know, I treat you guys as friends, because, I mean, hey, friends help each other out, and, you know, you guys helped me out getting here today. So, yeah, hope you guys stick with me in the long road to YouTube success, I guess. I don't know. We'll see where this takes me, and I'm really pumped up. I'm excited for the future, and this is something I'm definitely going to keep doing for a long time. And you know, I'm still kind of speechless, and it hasn't really hit me yet that I'm somewhere right now. Like, I'm actually getting to be recognized for what I do. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this more kind of serious toned, heart-to-heart commentary. And yeah, let's go for 100 likes on this, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.